Hmm? Ah! Oh.
Hello, Podcastica, everybody out there. How you doing? Um, you can't answer. This is a video. Put in the comments. I don't know. Anyway, if you know who I am, hi. If you don't, I am Pake. I am a co-host of Run for Your Lives, and then I've done a couple of other things. I'm on Strange Indeed with Rima, and yeah, so I'm here on Podcastica. Been hosting for years. And I did this last year, and I know we have a lot of new members in the in the Facebook groups and stuff now. So, hi, nice to meet you. You've been in the chats, have you been in the groups? Maybe you've seen posts here and there. We've talked, who knows? But anyway, I did this last year, so I'm gonna bring it back. It's award season as I'm recording this, and if this comes out tonight or tomorrow, whatever. Anyway, Oscars just happened very recently, yesterday to me. And so, in the spirit of that, last year I did this, and I'm going to do it again this year in that same spirit. So, we're breaking down all of the Podcastica shows from this past year, from 2024. I posted some polls, or a poll, in the groups and the chat threads and Discord, and let anybody who got to it to vote for their top five favorite ones. And that order you voted for them mattered, as there were points distributed depending on where you put them. And then today I took all of the votes and tabulated them all up and all of the points and came up with a definitive top 10 Podcastica shows of 2024. And now I will reveal those top 10 to you. Of course, I got it all tabulated, all ready to go, and it was done. And then before we shut down the poll, one more person voted very late, last minute. So I went in and took your top five and added those, whoever you were that put them in very late today. And you changed some things. You swapped number five and six around, and where it was originally, number 10 and number 11 were 1 point away from each other. And then the way you voted changed that. And then what was number 10 is now out of the 10, and I won't say it anymore. And what was number 11 now gets to be number 10. So you definitely changed some things with your one vote right at the end. But that's what's fun, is every vote counts. Um, yeah, so I can get to it. Like last year, there is one show on the whole list that didn't get any votes at all. There's only one show on the whole list that got zero votes. I just think that's a fun little fact, because that happened last year, that there was one that didn't. Same thing. Also a Marvel show. And again, I don't think it's saying that they're bad shows. It's just nobody's specific top five, and so then the points just kind of work out that way. But other than that, everything got at least a couple of votes. But some of these are surprising, some of them not so surprising, and some of them just like exciting. And I'm gonna break it down for you. So we might as well just get to it, not make this super long. But thanks everyone who did vote and put in their poll answers. It's awesome. So we'll start with number 10. That was number 11 earlier today until somebody fixed it up. So coming in at number 10 for 2024, the MGM Plus series From, which finished up its third season last year and just continues to be incredibly creepy, incredibly entertaining, keeping people guessing, theorizing, all of those things. So it's been really fun to watch. So yeah, From gets noticed. And I had the list from last year. I don't have it right in front of me, and I don't remember it. I don't know if From made it last year or not. I think so. Daphne is my tech person who's here with me to help stuff out. She's nodding yes. You can't see her in the video, but she's saying it came in at number five. So yeah, I've got a fact checker right in the periphery. So yeah, it came in at number 10 this year. From number nine. This one makes me very, 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 very happy, because it was me and Daphne working together to podcast on a show on the Star Wars TV podcast. Star Wars Skeleton Crew comes in at number nine, and I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, so this makes me very happy to have this come in. It was great, because yeah, Star Wars for a lot of people has been hit and miss on their TV shows, but I think Skeleton Crew was a show that really was a refresh that Star Wars maybe needed for some people. They wanted to see from it, because it was definitely it was Goonies meets Pirates of the Caribbean meets Indiana Jones. It was just very, coming of age, kids getting up to shenanigans kind of meets Star Wars universe, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm glad to see it get some love this year and come in our top 10. Now there were only 20, so it's a top 50%, but yeah, I'm glad to see it make the top. Number 8, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. It's coming in at number 8 this year. A lot of great in-depth coverage over on the podcast. Again, the votes I said not necessarily about the podcasters and the podcasts, but about the shows themselves. But still, as I'm reading these off, if you haven't listened to the podcasts for these corresponding shows, or haven't watched the shows, definitely go check out the shows. But then check out the podcasts if you have, for sure. A lot of great coverage of that season, of season 2 of Rings of Power. And yeah, a lot of people seem to really enjoy it because it came in at number 8 for 2024. Coming in at number 7, this one, along with Skeleton Crew that I mentioned, is if I do this again next year, will also be eligible because the seasons split the difference between some episodes releasing in 24 and some in 25. Because the way I do this, if they had episodes released in the year and a podcast covered those episodes in that year, it's eligible. So some of these shows balanced and they had like December and January releases and were covered week to week in those instances. So maybe you'll see this next year as well. But this is another one like Skeleton Crew, and that is Silo, the Apple TV series Silo, coming in at number 7. And yeah, that was broken down into 2 podcast episodes. The first half that was released in 2024 was covered all together, and then the back half was released in 2025 and was also covered all together in a podcast episode. So you can go check that out. And I think that was released on the Cast of Us feed. So you can go check that out. Good stuff over there. Silo, season 2, coming in at 7. Number 6 is a big one, I know, in our chats and our talks and the threads. Everybody's got to talk about it, theorize, or even just kind of talk about their favorite things, and try not to spoil it for people who are going week to week, because it is the Netflix series Squid Game, coming in at number 6. A lot of great coverage, and also that's another one that will be eligible next year, not for this season, but the third and final season will be releasing this summer. So we will have a new season of Squid Game in 2025 for sure. So keep an eye out for that. But as far as season 2, which for a lot of people felt more just like the first half of a season versus its own entire season. But yeah, number 6, a lot of good stuff in that one. Number 5, this one also makes me very happy. Is just like a nerd. I'm a big Marvel nerd, so we do have a Marvel show coming in at number 5. And again, even though it's not necessarily about the podcasts, this is Podcastica, so I got to give the love to them, to Jim and Penny for doing an incredible job with it. Agatha All Along coming in at number 5. Really great for like a Marvel TV series to just get really witchy. And that was something that was really cool, really special. A lot of just great characters, great cast, really great, interesting storytelling. Loved it. One of my favorite for sure. So I'm glad that it not just cracked the top 10, top 5. It is number 5. So it is in the upper echelon. Number 4. This one I think is kind of a surprise to me, especially that it came in this high. And that's not like a bad thing because I absolutely loved it and I can't wait to see more from it. Video game adaptations are usually not the most beloved, or at least they had a really bad track record for a long time, for many years, of just being awful. And then those things have changed. When we got like the Mortal Kombat movie a couple years ago that I at least really enjoyed, and then a couple of different things came out. I mean, The Last of Us was a big part of that, of course, which season 2 this year, very soon. So this is another one that people, video game fans and people who maybe never played the games but know how adaptations kind of can go, were a little weary about, but I think it turned out incredibly well and made a lot of new fans of the franchise, and that is Fallout. Coming in at number 4, and yeah, it became such a huge deal, and I mean, Walton Goggins just doing his best is it's so incredible. I love watching him and just seeing him play that role and then everything in that. Yeah, great show. Fallout coming in at number 4, which I love. Number 3 on our list this year. It is Podcastica, And a lot of fans of Podcastica are referred to as Zed heads for a reason. And that is because the flagship show, what really started everything with Podcastica, is, of course, The Walking Dead. And so when The Walking Dead has its spin off shows that are continuing after the series has ended, yeah, we have a lot of Walking Dead viewers still in this network and in the fan groups and everything like that. So, yeah, Walking Dead is a reason a lot of these people are together. So it's going to be ranking high, of course. And that doesn't mean that they are not great shows also, because they're doing a lot of great things, putting in a lot of great work, incredibly iconic characters continuing on and doing things. All that said, number three is The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. So we have, yep, the continuate the Daryl and Carol reuniting in France, season two, all of that going on. A lot of big stuff. So of course, lots of stuff, entertaining storylines and things going on for people to pay attention to. Some big reunions and some missed reunions, some uh not so great moments, we're honest, but that's it gives and it takes. But yeah, still definitely beloved by so many people in this group that voted. So it definitely earns that spot there. Number three, Daryl Dixon. Number two, another one of the shows that, if it's not The Walking Dead, that got a lot of people into this podcast group and network and fandom, is Game of Thrones. So of course, number two for the year is the second season of HBO's House of the Dragon, which, yeah, phenomenal. Just everything about that show is incredible. Even people who were scared to see anything new in the Game of Thrones universe after the way Game of Thrones ended, I think it made believers out of pretty much everybody. This show, both seasons have been phenomenal, top notch, acting, writing, directing, everything. So it easily earns that number two spot for 2024. Which brings us to number one. And I don't think it's a surprise to anybody, especially everybody who voted in the poll, because you all know what almost most everybody included in their top five somewhere in there. It blew everything out of the water score wise. And again, it's a Walking Dead fandom here. So The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, comes in at number one for 2024, which again makes perfect sense as just this being a big Walking Dead fandom. But also, after so many years of Rick Grimes just being gone, and finally getting not only Rick Grimes back on our screens, but having his reunion with Michonne and them fighting to reunite and stay together through the ups and the downs and all of the relationship stuff in that season. Plus, I mean, I don't. Should I be worried about spoiling things? Because who's watching this that hasn't watched the ones that live? But who knows? Maybe there are some non-Walking Dead fans that are still in the group, obviously, with a lot of other shows like The Last of Us and House of the Dragon and Yellow Jackets and all these other things that are really big. So, of course, yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything to it. There's some huge reunions that also happen in that show and some really big things that impact the universe of The Walking Dead. So, of course, number one, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. It's kind of one of those, like, it happened very early in the year, and it already, you're like, yeah, it's going to be like the biggest deal for most people. It just makes sense. So yeah, that's our list. If anybody wants to know kind of what point breakdowns and other shows where they landed and things like that, just talk in the threads or message me or whatever, and I'll be more than happy to just give like little stats and details. But that is our top 10. Again, number 10 from 9, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, 8, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, 7, Silo, 6, Squid Game, 5, Agatha All Along, 4, Fallout, 3, The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, 2, House of the Dragon, and 1, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. Thanks everybody again for taking time to put in your picks in the poll. This is fun for me to do, and hopefully I'll come back next year and do it again around this time, around award season. Already got a few shows for 2025, as I mentioned, Skeleton Crew, Silo. Uh, Cobra Kai also is one that balanced those two, so we'll see that as well. Yellow Jackets has their new season that's running right now, so that will be on the docket next year for sure. White Lotus as well, 1923. A lot of shows already in just this very like early first 2 months of the year, really, that have already come out and are going. So I think we might have a bigger pool next year. So it'll be a lot of fun. So I'll see you guys then to do this again. But yeah, thanks for watching, and see you around.